You're listening to Extended Techniques, a podcast about contemporary music through the lenses of timbral innovations.
Visit extendedtechniques.com for all the program details, live music reviews, and our recommendations for contemporary music events in New York City.
Follow our Facebook page, subscribe to us on iTunes, and enjoy the sounds.
Your hosts are Erlena Dlu
and Alotrolado.
Today we are going to talk about extended vocal techniques, and specifically about the voice of British singer, trumpeter, and composer Phil Minton. The voice, which is both a musical instrument and a compositional device. The piece that you've just heard is called Urgent and was recorded in 1984 as a part of the album Ammo, an improvising session by the duo of Phil Minton and British percussionist Roger Turner. Such experimental sounds must have seemed rather shocking statement in 1980s. And now, after almost 30 years have passed, don't you think the recording seems astonishingly contemporary?
As many great works of art, it does. In fact, Leo Records founder Leo Fagin told us that Amo is his favorite album of Phil Minton today, whose creative output consists of over 100 records.
Born in 1940, Phil Minton pioneered abstract vocal sound experiments, improvised with great musicians of his time, and also composed some works based on political subjects. Fascinated with the sounds of human voice, in 1980s he originated Feral Choir Project, a series of vocal workshops with both professional and non-professional singers, leading to a great number of performances around the world, which he continues to conduct today. In this program, we will try to cover Minton's most representative works, A rather difficult task, I should say, taking into account the wide range of his vocal techniques, the variety of styles in his music, and the great number of musicians with whom he collaborated throughout his career.
On September 9th, Extended Techniques organized and recorded a concert of Phil Minton with Axel Dörner, Okkyung Lee, and Spencer Yeh. It was Phil Minton's only performance in the US in the past 10 years, and also the first time the four musicians performed together. We found that one of the sets came out quite extraordinary, and now want to share the piece with you.
Closer towards the end of the program, you will also hear some of the insights that Phil shared with us in a phone interview from London. But now, let's look a little more to the past, starting with the piece from Doughnut's solo series, one of the favorites of Phil Minton himself.
A Doughnut in One Hand, recorded in 1998, is his second solo album. There are 30 pieces on the set, and all of them recorded without technical special effects, so the multiphonics and polytonality are all from the mouth of Minton as they happened.
As Tom Jurek stated in the album review on AllMusic Guide, this is the freest of free improvisation out there. The series also consists of A Doughnut in Both Hands, released in 1981, and No Doughnuts in Hand of 2008, and would be an interesting study how both the voice and aesthetics have changed over 27 years. However, we will leave this investigation to a curious listener and play for you only a Dow's song number 8 from A Doughnut in One Hand, the second of the trilogy.
It's
It is indeed incredible how one can use the entire body, the depth of the belly, the matter of his throat and breath, lip, tongue, and muscle control to invent new sounds. I asked Phil how he came up with the idea of abstract vocal sounds as a basis for an entire piece of music, and he said,
I started to listen to the voice like, I suppose, how people look at paintings. I do think that the American abstract expressionism was quite important. If you think of sound as sound paintings or sounds, it seems pretty obvious to me what a Jackson Pollock painting sounds like. I remember thinking this back even back as far as the 50s, because I was quite interested in the free jazz movement as well, with Ornette Coleman and the likes of it. They did call it like action music in those days. Like they called Pollock like action painting. It was a lot of these ideas, I think, from the art world that were the first sort of influences.
Abstract sound experiments are also primary in many of Phil Minton's collaborations with free jazz artists. For example, in his duo albums with saxophonist John Butcher.
Phil Minton and John Butcher first improvised together in 1984 as a part of sound poetry music series in the upstairs room in a London pub. In 2002, they released a duo CD, Apples of Gomorrah, a glimpse of which we want to share with you. We will now play a piece called Joy Weed.
In the following years, Phil Minton and John Butcher played together in a wide range of projects. In particular, the Phil Minton Quartet with pianist Varian Weston and percussionist Roger Turner. This quartet recorded Mouthful of Ecstasy, a work based around texts from James Joyce Finnegan's Wake.
Joyce's text is used freely to provide basis for improvisation. In the recent interview to Stuart Broomer from the Point of Departure website, Phil said that he hears language as music.
Let's hear how language becomes music in the piece called Mouthful of Ecstasy from the same titled album performed by Phil Minton Quartet in 1996.
His mouth full of ecstasy for Xing young thing in China from Yorium across the Time War Sea. Here pong, my adventure, shot pinging up through the era Ruth of his wisdom. Who thought him a funeral? Feast king of Shelley's by googling Louis. Regally threather and megally plume, and was but gumboil, outridery bloods, wretched some hosiery, meagy bloods, coffin acid, otakery, bloods, dense flobbins, murgady, has thought it had been Zawain into. Holy sanguished up, blooded up, disconvulsing the fixtures of his fist. A man which his temperature met him a crazy jump over amateur silly eye. Joshua Croway, a son of none. From the rose I said glow to the
Another interesting set of texted music, a song cycle Natur Morte, based on a poem by Joseph Brodsky, came from Phil Minton's collaboration with pianist and composer Simon Nabokov.
Phil and Simon met in 1992 in the project of German composer Klaus Koenig, an oratorio Song of Songs, with an orchestra and a gospel choir, where Phil was one of the two principal vocal soloists. In an interview to Extended Techniques, Simon told us that the 2 weeks of recording and touring gave him ample chances to witness personally how amazing Phil was, from carrying a soulful tune to using the most adventurous and very personal vocal techniques.
So when Nabokov decided to write a piece based on Brodsky's poem, his first thought was, is there, so to speak, a Russian Phil Minton out there? Establishing rather quickly that the answer was no, Simon used the English translation of poem Natur Morte just to have Phil perform it. The work was recorded on Leo Records in 2001. Let's hear part 2 and 3.
It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days or nights or people? No, only things, since people will surely die, all of them, as I shall. All talk is a barren trade, a writing on the wind's wall. It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days or nights? Or people? No, only things, since people will surely die, all of them as I shall. All talk is a barren trade, riding on the wind's wall. It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days or nights or people? No, only things, since people will surely die, all of them, as I shall. All talk is a barren trade, writing on the wind's wall. It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days or nights or people? Oh, only things, since people will surely die, all of them, as I shall. Oh, talk is a barren trade, riding on the wind's wall. It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days or nights or people? Only things, since people will surely die, all of them as I shall. I'll talk, it's a barren trade, riding on the wind's wall. It's time, I shall now begin. It makes no difference with what open mouth, it's better to speak, although I can also be mute. What then shall I talk about? Shall I talk about nothingness? Shall I talk about days and nights? Oh, people know only things, since people will surely die. All of them, as I shall. All talk is a barren trade, a writing on the wind's wall. My blood is very cold. It's cold, more withering than ice to the bottom streams. People are not my thing. People are not my thing. I hate the look of them, grafted to life's great tree. Each face is firmly stuck and cannot be torn free. I hate the look of them, grafted to life's great tree. Each face is firmly stuck and cannot be torn free. I hate the look of them, grafted to life's great tree. Each face is firmly stuck and cannot be torn free. Something the mind abhors shows in each face and form. Something like flattery of persons quite unknown.
Brodsky's poem Naturmort is a part of Simon Nabatov's Russian trilogy, together with works inspired by Daniil Harm's collection of short stories, A Few Incidents, and Mikhail Bulgakov's novel Master and Margarita. The idea of this trilogy came to Nabatov because he was interested in the phenomenon of great artists, writers, and musicians living and working during Soviet totalitarian regime. trying, and often succeeding, to create masterpieces in spite of the horrors of the system, its limitations and threats.
Daniil Harms was the greatest Russian absurdist and surrealist writer who brilliantly conveyed a sense of paranoia of living in Stalinist Russia in his works that were instantly banned. He died from starvation in prison in 1941. Brodsky, of course a few decades later, became the symbol of artistic defiance, which resulted in short prison term, followed by the forced exile and Nobel Prize in Literature. Simon Nabatov can personally relate to political persecutions in the Soviet Union, with his own grandfather killed in 1939.
As Nabatov told us, I certainly would never compare myself to these literary giants artistically. The only mild similarities could be found in the fact that already as a young musician, studying composition at the Moscow Conservatory and leaning in my interest clearly more towards Western new music and jazz than the works of socialist realism, I experienced increasingly the pressure to come back to the right path, a conflict which I couldn't resolve until I left Soviet Union in 1979.
So we see that the connection of the composer to the text is quite personal. Phil Minton himself grew up in a different environment and has a somewhat different attitude to these texts.
I think most of the present were quite depressing. I think you could say, and possibly my feelings with texts like that is to try to just do them without trying to put any particular emotional value onto words. I listen to words like music. I don't try to act the words or to try to feel the emotions of the writer. I think I try as best as I can to be as sort of objective with them, apart from perhaps playing with pitches and playing with the colours and the sounds of the words. But I wouldn't dare try to act and play with the meanings of the words.
Let's hear how the sounds, not the meanings, not even the words, are played with in That's All, an opening track from A Few Incidents based on Daniil Harms' stories performed by Simon Nabatov Octet.
Standing on the tips and peering at me straight in the face like very unpleasant, you know. To the side, then get a look round at me, and he was again peering me straight in the face. I tried. I shielded myself. After that, waiting me up and But my break was not prolonged.
You're listening to Extended Techniques podcast, The Voices of Phil Minton.
One of the long-term collaborators of Phil Minton throughout his career is British avant-garde pianist Varian Weston. They produced a great number of projects, ranging from free improvisation to arrangements of classical and jazz vocal repertoire to original works they composed together. We want to present you some of it, starting from the performance that took place in a German restaurant released as an album Vase in 1987.
The album consists of selections of songs by Ives, Schubert, Minton and Weston themselves, suites made of worker songs of World War I, and from comic opera tunes by rather obscure sources. Something quite different from what we've heard so far. It was a little clank nocturne that we enjoyed the most and want to share with you.
In 1989, Phil Minton was offered the commission from Le Mans Festival to compose a piece for choir and solo voice, and, as he said, immediately thought of Varian Weston for possible collaboration. It didn't take long to decide on the subject. They played it by ear. Here is how songs from Prison Diary, based on the poems of Vietnamese communist revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh, came about.
Varian had said he had just bought this little book in a second-hand shop, which was the poems of Ho Chi Minh, and we looked at them, and we were really surprised because they were written back in the 30s, before he was communist leader of Vietnam. And some of them were probably written while he was a student, but I think most of them were written while he was in prison in China. And they're very sort of ordinary. This is what we liked about them. They weren't revolutionary texts. They were just all about the day-to-day business of the boring business of being in prison. Not monotony, what it was about. There was just one song, I think, that was a poet should know how to lead an attack, which is a little bit sort of, I suppose, revolutionary, communist revolutionary sort of talk, but most of it was pretty just ordinary stuff like what you do in the morning, the morning routine and then the evening routine, and that was what we liked about it, because we just previously been working on some texts of James Joyce, which was a whole different sort of kettle of fish. And then it was just so nice, just like that, almost like children's little poems from Ho Chi Minh. Yeah, that's how it came about.
Songs from a Prison Diary was completed for solo voice, choir, piano and percussion. It was performed at Musica 91 in Strasbourg and awarded the Cornelius Cardew Composition Prize in 1991.
And I find that compositional process of the two artists was quite interesting.
We composed together, Varian, and so there's a lot of the written music came from improvisations that we did together. So, and Varian is very good at writing things down, because he's a highly trained musician in the proper sense of the word. He is able to write accurately things that he hears. But we improvise together, and then decide on what material can be used, and then Varian orchestrated it. Yes, but it was an absolute joint venture between the two of us.
This piece was only performed twice. Let's listen to an evening song from 1993 release of Songs from a Prison Diary.
When the meal is over, the sun sinks in the west. Now from all corners, folk songs and music. Sun is gone up.
Although Phil Minton is seemingly indifferent to the meaning of the words, a lot of his work, especially in collaboration with Varian Weston, is based on political subjects. An interesting example of such works is their album Ways Out East, Ways Out West, released in 2005, that involves 8 singers that use composed schemes as a basis for ensemble improvisation. The work concerns the ideas of anarchism, with a focus on Ukrainian anarchist Nestor Makhno.
But we had enough of politics today. Another interesting work by Varian and Phil is their 2004 album Past. The songs on this recording range from Bertolt Brecht's reminiscent cabaret art songs to unique version of Schumann's In wunderschönen Monat Mai.
We want to play for you what Rick Anderson in his AllMusic Guide review calls a completely ridiculous and ultimately tedious deconstruction of a Monteverdi Magnificat setting.
You're listening to Extended Techniques podcast, The Voices of Phil Minton.
One of the most recent collaborators of Phil Minton, and we are getting back to abstract sounds, is New York-based Korean-born experimental cellist Okkyung Lee. They met for the first time in London to produce an album Anika, named after the concept of impermanence in Buddhism. Okkyung told us that she didn't know what to expect really, but once she heard Phil singing, she got goosebumps.
The album was released by Dancing Way Young Studio, hand-numbered, limited edition of 350 LPs. Let's listen to the track from Anika called Mujin, which means limitless in Korean.
And now we want to present you one of the pieces that we recorded during Phil Minton's only performance in the US in the past 10 years, that we organized in September this year. He performed together with Axel Dörner on trumpet, Okkyung Lee on cello, and Spencer Yeh on violin and voice.
The concert came about totally spontaneous. Okkyung knew that Axel and Phil came to New York to participate in a film by Matthew Barney. And a few days before their departure, they decided to do a concert, and we just happened to be around.
Let's listen to the second set of the session at FB Gallery in downtown Manhattan. So this is the most recent recording we could present. From all the different musical styles in which Phil has been involved throughout his career, we haven't yet listened to any rock music. That also is a part of his creative output, together with The Roof, the quartet of American cellist Tom Cora, with Luke X on bass and Michael Watcher on drums.
We're saying goodbye today with the Diving Bell from Untraceable Cigar by the Roof Quartet.
Keep exploring voices of Phil Minton in recordings and live performances, and he will continue surprising you. That's all for today. Your hosts are Erlena Dlu
and Ala Trolada. Visit extendedtechniques.com for all the program details, live music reviews, and our recommendations for contemporary music events in New York City.
Follow our Facebook page, subscribe to us on iTunes, and thank you for listening.